Hello and welcome to Scarlet Serpent Readings. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Timeless Pick a Card reading, where we will be looking at and aligning the energies of the mind, body, and spirit. So we're just going to see, I think I'm going to read it like past, present, future, but it's going to be like a little grid of 3 cards for each section, and we're just going to see how all of these energies within you are lining up, and hopefully identify some, if there are any misalignments that could be potentially slowing you down from getting you to where you want to go spiritually, financially, physically. That'll depend on you and your situation. So I first wanted to thank all of you who are subscribed, and I'm loving all the comments, the likes, all the support. It really means a lot to me, and I'm very grateful. So thank you so much, and thank you for those who are just stopping by for the first time. Welcome, and hopefully you enjoyed this reading. So let's get into the pile selection. We have 3 piles here. Pile 1. Pile 2. And then pile 3. Just so you can see all of them together. Okay. So if you need some more time to choose a pile, you can do so now. Just pause the video, take your time, choose intuitively. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as always, and I look forward to your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this card here, this is going to be your reading. Okay, and I'll get into this card towards the end when we find out how you can heal and align all of these energies together. But first, I have 3 rows of tarot. The first row is going to be the mind, the second row is the body, and the third row is spirit. And of course, you can interpret that however you'd like. For the most part, the mind's going to be just pretty straightforward mental energies at the moment. Past, present, future, 1 card each. And then the body, you could take it as physical life, like you could actually take it as your body physically, but also kind of the mundane world. And then spirit transcends both of those, so we're talking about possibly like your higher self, if you resonate with that. Okay, so okay, and I'm going to clarify all of these, so that's kind of why I already put everything out, but these were all shuffled as always. So the first card in the past of your mind is the Queen of Wands. I think this is a deliberate, bold move for yourself to be more assertive, more embodying your fire, being proud and confident. And this was a mental, again, decision to fully embody that. And as we go down, it'll be a little more apparent as to why, but I'm going to continue for now. In the present moment, for the mind, we have the Lover's card. This could obviously indicate wanting to manifest a relationship if you don't have one now, but you could also be in a relationship, but that's at least part of what I'm getting here. Obviously, since this is a general reading for the collective, if you're not in a relationship or even thinking of one, this could be a blending of your own energies, your masculine, feminine, your shadow and the light attributes, and really focusing on being your fullest, wholest self, if that makes sense. And then the future card, these are of course potential futures, but we have the 5 of Swords, which is Venus in Aquarius. Very bright energy here with the clouds, leaving a battlefield behind. So I could see, as with all of these cards together, I'll just show them to you real quick, is that as you focus more on yourself, as you focus more about what you feel like what you feel love should be for you, and this could be, again, regardless if you're in a relationship or not, it's kind of experiencing what you expect if you were to be in the ideal relationship. And as you tap into those energies, you move away from people, ideas, circumstances that are just causing unnecessary conflict, unnecessary strife, and focusing more on the love for yourself. And that could be, again, in a relationship, but also, of course, just focusing on the things that bring happiness to you. And that's with the Queen of Wands. She's just like, I see her like waving a wand, and like if she was in the woods waving a wand to like wolves or something, we're trying to get at her. It's like, no, here, this is my fire. I'm proud of what I am. I'm not backing down, and I'm not going to be part of your petty battles. And we're going to see how this plays out as we step into the next section, which is the body. In the past, we have the Five of Cups. So part of this newfound focus on love and your power and your mostly power, mostly like the sunflower, blooming and being vibrant and unapologetic for who you are. That could have to do with having lost something. Again, there is a hint of relationship here, so maybe you've lost a relationship or a friendship, or you've dealt with, and this is a little more prevalent here, where you've dealt with someone who hasn't been very honest with you. We see the crow looking forward, and if you notice, the crow is looking at the next card, which is in the present moment, which is the Seven of Wands, which is, I believe, Moon in Aquarius, and we have, a few Moon cards here. That being said, in the physical world, it seems as though you're in situations where there's some dishonesty happening, there's some dissatisfaction with whatever circumstance that you're in. It could be a work situation. It could be a work situation as well, where you've been putting in a lot of effort and it hasn't been reciprocated. But this could go, of course, through most any area of your life, just because the cards aren't really... There's a hint of more work than any of the other areas, so like spiritual development or love interest. This feels slightly leaning towards work, but again, this is general, so you could apply it for whatever you feel. But straight away, I notice with the future card of the mind and the present of the body, that mentally you're shifting your energies to just get away from this. Just get away from this energy and this lack of truthful energy. Yeah. So being in control of the thoughts that come in that are possibly limiting and coming from other people who are just not being honest with you and trying to bring you down. And then we have the Death card. So in this case, it really feels very positive. Excuse me. Because of, I guess, these people, the situation that's around you at the moment, where you are in the energy mentally of love and of being passionate and truthful to the person that you are, like, and what's ending is your tolerance for, I was going to say unrealistic people. No, it was inauthenticity in others, and I think that's an act of self-love. When you are authentic, you could see the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Wands as being very authentic, and that's your new standard. And as you embody that mentally and physically as well, everything that isn't aligned with that has to fall away. It just cannot be in the same energy field. And now for Spirit. Spirit, in the past, we have the World card. So new opportunities, endings, And if we align the row of the past with all of the different energies, so we have, this is the body, this is the spirit, and this is the mind, we could see that there's a shift from sadness and moving into a position of power. And yeah, like with the world, you're approaching the end of a cycle of there's a word there it's somewhere, I need to find it. But disappointment, disappointing circumstances, disappointing people that again aren't really aligned with you, but you're taking that power into your own hands now. And I think that's why the world is in the past, where you've already started moving towards getting in a position where you could embody the lovers, where you could embody just absolute, like I could feel the warmth radiating from you, you know, where you're just so confident in who you are, and confident enough to sniff out this energy, and like this suggests, moving away from it with Aquarius kind of closing in on your ideals, and that focus with Saturn there is kind of what that's going to be your power moving forward. So we have the 8 of Pentacles for Spirit in the present moment. So this shows me that there is a lot of work spiritually there's a lot of work going on, you know. This is deliberate. This is part of why I think your mind, like none of the cards in the mind area for you are negative, and that's because I think of the meditation, of the spiritual work you've been putting through, and that's being most evident in your mind. And I think if there's any wavering like in confidence, it's just because the physical reality is still catching up to all the progress that's been made. But really it's a lot of it, yeah, nice Virgo energy here. You might have a connection with Thor. I just thought of that. Very protective energy here. I smile for personal reasons, but okay. And then we have the 6 of Pentacles in the future position of the Spirit. So I think that would say that you're actually getting back all of the effort that you've put in spiritually will manifest itself physically. And I think that manifestation is the Death card, like as we showed you earlier. But what's interesting is the moon has showed up 3 times in each area of your life. The moon's kind of, it's in a different position. So we have, you know, the moon in the past, the moon in the future twice, moon in the future twice. So it's kind of and I see the cycles here. So this is kind of asking for patience as well as this whole process unfolds. Well, for now we're going to clarify all these. Oh Lord. Okay. But I'll probably be a bit quicker because I think you're aware of what's coming. We have the Queen of Cups next to the Queen of Wands. Let's do the Lovers. So that clarify. Let me just put this down real quick. This is very on the nose. I love my guides for this because I've asked so many times to just be straight with me. I don't have patience. Look. And look at the Lovers. Right. So we have both queens as well. So I do feel this is leaning more towards personal energy as opposed to relationship partner, although it can be. But this is really a merging of 2 energies. This is really a merging of the masculine and feminine. This is a merging of being a bit flamboyant versus receptive. Those aren't opposites, but you know what I'm getting at. So it's a full acceptance of the self, and this is a mental game, really. seeing the Lovers here, the King of Pentacles. This just feels like being really confident, really secure in self. Really secure in self. Of course, given that the Queen and King, there could be, again, a partnership. But it's all of this is very, very balanced here. And I like this King of Pentacles because he's facing forward. His feet are firmly on the ground. I guess there's that patience I was looking for. We have the pillars here as well. So protective energy too. There could be a calling to be protective of your energy, especially with the mind. So let's look at this Five of Swords. You know, I don't think I'm gonna need to clarify all these cards. This might be a mini reading. I think that'd be cool. Let's do the Five of Swords. Yeah. Nine of Wands. With Sagittarius, another moon card. So lots of moon energy, being receptive, again, being okay with the unconscious self, learning about your own cycles. But with the Nine of Wands and the Five of Swords, it's really just not exerting that extra energy towards petty battles, towards this person. And it might not just be a person, it could be a set of people, a circumstance, but not wasting your energy on this, because it's not productive. It's where, you know, where you focus that kind of grows, that you're giving that power. Okay. Do I want to continue doing? Let's just see. I'll give it 3 shuffles. If not, I'm not going to do this one. Okay. High Priestess, Five of Cups. I think that loss. Let's do the Seven of Swords. I think that loss kind of allowed you to recalibrate your mind. That it was actually very positive. So whatever the Five of Cups is, was actually, in hindsight, beneficial, because it caused you to refocus on different priorities as opposed to a different person. You might have been exerting too much energy onto someone, and it's kind of like a hint of a Tower moment as well. But you're obviously very intuitive, and this just goes as a confirmation about all of the moon energies, that you're very comfortable with the lunar energies, the receptive, energies. You have the Two of Cups clarifying the Seven of Swords, so it's kind of back and forth, and I'm getting that just because it's a collective reading where some of you, this might have been the word came up, infidelity, but really just dishonesty in a relationship of some kind. But what I'm also getting is, because the Lovers is on the present moment, and this is the present moment, this indicates an alignment happening. It's a beautiful union of being intuitive and taking the action. Taking the action is really important here. So I feel as though this union with the Lovers, both Lovers cards, that's what's going to bring you the most happiness in the physical world. So as these things line up, again, this was the mind and the body. So like everything's starting to go on the same page. And speaking of the same page, clarifying the Death card, we have the Nine of Wands. So definitely an ending of wasting your energy on people who are just not worth your time. Two Nine of Wands. This one's a little more playful, though. It's like you're just casually not... I mean, of course you have responsibilities and things you have to do, but then again, your priority is shifting from not personal responsibilities, but on like carrying other people's loads. That's getting old for you. It's getting old, and you're realizing the value in taking that energy and putting it towards yourself, especially with spirituality, because you're starting to realize as you meditate more, just take more time to yourself. It doesn't necessarily need to be meditation, but that's changing your perception. With the World, we have the Hermit. So spirit, yeah, I guess I just said that in a way. This is the past again. Notice if you could see the little ingrained... See, there's like a little sun. So it's through meditation where you've opened yourself up through like healing work and maybe tarot readings and things like that, where by being in the hermit mode, and it's lined up. I mean, it's lined up right here with the High Priestess, right? Whatever situation caused this, which was the Five of Cups, was actually kind of what catapulted you into yourself, where you could find the wisdom to realize how your mind could be refocused into focusing on your love and embodying yourself and being proud of who you are, every aspect of who you are, and not giving too much of yourself again to others. Let's clarify. Okay, the Nine of Swords for the Eight of Pentacles. I'm gonna get another card for that, because that isn't... But it kind of feels like stepping away from daydreaming. We have the Sun and the Magician in the present moment. So these are all present, right? In spirit. Stepping away from daydreaming and taking a little more control as to what you can do. And what you can do is meditate. What you can do is shine your brightest. What you can do is manifest. And as you work in spirituality, you can do, of course, different rituals, but also just change your mind, do affirmations and things like that. Because I think you're realizing the importance and benefit of doing that. And we have sunflowers again. Whoops. I'll just show you. Sunflowers showing up. This could be like a little hint, a little wink from your spirit guides, your spirit team, that you're on the right path if you see them casually. But very pretty, very big flowers. So you're stepping into big energy as well. And that could have been part of that deceit that we saw earlier, where it's like... people want to keep you small, and you're seeing past it now. Okay, so let's just one more card before we get Healing Through Challenge. That was the card. Healing Through Challenge. And I think that challenge was the Five of Cups. That challenge was the Seven of Swords. That challenge was difficult people. And that kind of forced you to bring yourself into alignment. We have the two energies here. This is a card of Archangel Raphael. So that's the healing part, and that's why we have Lovers and the Two of Cups. We have the Merkaba as well, so those of you who are interested in astral traveling might be in this pile. But yeah, there's a strong, like, look at the top and the bottom. So notice it's blue and red. This is blue and red. So definitely a union of maybe like your higher, lower self, shadow self. It doesn't need to be called shadow self. It could be like called the subconscious. And as you work with it, you just recognize certain patterns and you're able to move alongside your subconscious in a way where it's not an enemy anymore. And then we have the Page of Swords for the Six of Cups, or Six of Pentacles. It looks like you're Alright, just a quick pause, but it looks like you're writing your own book. Taking a bit more of control, using the mind wisely. I'm noticing the roots here at the bottom too, so just in regards to spirituality, remaining grounded. But this is again the future card for the Spirit. So maybe a new idea coming through as well. This is one of those cards with the Page of Swords. Really, really strong new energy. More so than most pages, you know, because of the swords. So yeah. Hopefully that part of the reading was helpful. I'm just going to get a little more guidance. How you could align all these energies, although that's already happening for the most part. Let's just clarify this. Healing through challenge. Just to close the reading. Anything else? But definitely Archangel Raphael would be helpful for you as well. Raphael, Thor. You might have some Egyptian energy too. And Athena, you might work with Athena. Or she might be around you, or at least her energy could be around you, helping you make the wise decisions, wise choices, and move forward in confidence. Okay, so you have the Strength card and the Five of Wands. Let's see. Well, that's where the Queen of Wands kind of feels distant from all of that, right? And that's kind of where this whole thing started, a mental shift, where it kind of mirrors the Five of Swords in a way, where there's a figure stepping away from the conflict. Usually it's all together, right? But there's a being, my fingers all up on it, sorry. Here we go. It almost looks like a tribal dance, but look at all the energy. Look at all the energy being wasted here. Up here, right? Being independent of that. Being a watcher to other people's, you know, waste of energy. And then we have the Strength card. So this is all about, like it says, healing through challenge. This situation that you're in, you might still be in it, but it's bringing a lot of strength and a lot of confidence for you. A very fierce energy that you're stepping into, where you're really going to be unstoppable and untamable. And there's that lion again. It's just fell on the floor. Here we go. Let's see that. You're not just taming the lion, you're controlling it and directing it, and that's part of your power and part of what's going to bring people to respect you, you know. And again, this is just hopefully I can carry all these cards. But these feel all very similar, right? You're uniting these two energies so that you become more powerful, right? So hopefully this reading was helpful. Please let me know. Please comment. I love the comments. I really appreciate them. They make my day. And I'm doing a few more lighthearted readings in the future, so look out for those. Also, I think I think I might be unlocking the community tab thing, and I'll probably be using that to get polls. So I'll like ask what kinds of readings you would like in the future, just to really, make you happy. I don't know. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this reading, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading, and we're going to go ahead and look at that towards the end, where we're going to find out how you can bring healing and balancing energy in all aspects of your life. So the first row I have is the mind, the second row is the body, and the third row is spirit. And we're doing past, present, and future. And I have all the cards laid out because I'm going to clarify all of them, so kind of wanted to save a little bit of time. But let's get right into it. The first card we have in the past for the mind is the Chariot. You might have felt stuck for a while in a situation, and you kind of set yourself on a path to making real progress in the physical world, and that starts with the mind, with the decision to do that. You have the moon on the shoulder and the sun on the forehead, and I just get that it was slow start because it's coming out of a shell. And then in the mind we have the Six of Pentacles, which is Taurus, the moon in Taurus, giving and receiving, and that's really, it's interesting having the pentacles in the mind, right, where it's just being aware of where you're putting your energy, if you're getting it back in return, and just finding that balance. And when it doesn't feel balanced, you're not giving as much in that way, but also focusing on projects, focusing on building something, because again it felt as though movement has been slow for the most part, in terms of manifesting a lifestyle that you really desire. And so I think the awareness of, if you're exerting energy into this project, are you receiving it? It doesn't have to be right away though, but do you feel some sort of momentum? Do you actually feel like it's satisfying you on a soul level? That's how you know at least there's some progress being made. And then we have the Knight of Wands in the future for the mind. So being proud of the accomplishments, because it could have taken a while. And then we have masculine, well, it's feminine, obviously this card, but with the triangle facing up, it's action oriented. There's like a peacock there dancing. You might want to dance. We have 1111 showing up, so maybe you want to dance or have a reason to dance, at least within your mind, to celebrate, the movement. So it's kind of this progress of movement, where the Chariot felt slow. It's usually fast, but this one feels really slow. Bringing forth those energies within the mind, and then actually being proud and sharing the progress you've made. So let's look at the body now. The body has the Five of Wands. You could have felt slow because you were in an environment that was suffocating you. With Mars, just lots of unnecessary conflict in your environment in the past, and that might have been what triggered you to want to make the move, right? You're like, okay, I don't need to be a part of this anymore. And that's kind of shown again with the movement of swords in the body, present moment. Really trying to make progress. You could have a panther spirit guide that's coming through fairly strong. Panther, lion, or butterfly. But doesn't it feel like the Eight of Wands here? Like stepping into expressing yourself and being confident in your expression. That could have something to do with the Knight of Wands as well, is confidence in speaking up. And with Gemini, and then we have the Judgment card in the future for the body. So physically there's some sort of transformation, Archangel Gabriel coming through here, and Yeah, becoming the butterfly. Lots of transformation, lots of stepping into the fullness of who you are. I was gonna pick up the last row, but I'll get back to that later. I lied. I'm gonna get back to it right now because this is the future, right? And then in spirit we have this. And usually the judgment isn't a card of pride, but we have a butterfly here, so it's really just showing your beauty. And the beautiful thing about this is that they're all aligned. You know, this potential future is an alignment of energies. Of in my mind, I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to spiritually be confident in who I am, and that's going to manifest in transformation and really living out your life purpose. And being wise, because we have the eyes too, the two Egyptian eyes there, if you could see them. So acting with wisdom. It's not just empty, shallow, show off Miami. You know what I'm saying? So in the spirit column in the past, we have the Queen of Cups. I think it was through your intuition that you decided to shift the mind and decide to get away from a certain, it's kind of like an environment, but also a lifestyle that doesn't suit you. So just maybe people around you are trying to one up, show off, like, oh, I have a brighter car, faster car, or I work out this much. And I think part of this journey is kind of drawing attention to yourself naturally, you know? Without effort, but without really showing off either. You have the Ace of Wands in the present moment of the spirit. And this was the body, just to remind you. So these two align very well. New ideas coming through, especially spiritually. So what's interesting about this interaction is that you have this come in. They're like channeled downloads, and you take it and run with it physically. And this part right here is really important, about writing it down, about sharing it, about grounding it into reality, because otherwise it just stays up there. It doesn't really manifest itself in the 3D. So let's clarify this whole row of mind energy. But this kind of feels like success in some sort of communication. And it could be work, like standing out without too much effort. Yeah, with the Chariot we have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands, no, so Ace of Swords and Ace of Wands. We have the Seven of Swords in the present position of the mind underneath the Six of Pentacles. So just being more mindful of, and I think that makes sense with the, it's like, are you getting what you are giving? And just taking note of potential people who are hoarding your energy. Hoarding your energy. This could be, because there's so much communication, it could just be with like opening up to someone. Like if you're having a conversation with a person and they aren't listening, like they're just talking the whole time, that's just an example of like, hey, you know what, I think I need to go because I need to end this. Or you just, it's like, I don't think you're really worth talking to because I don't get a chance to speak. That's ridiculous. Just an example there. But we have the Fool with the Knight of Wands in the future. So being a lot more carefree. Look at that. Very carefree energy. Okay, so let's see. And that's something you want, freedom. Freedom is very important to you. With this card, and with the lion, not really answering to anyone, so there could be like a craving for independence here. And I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing, you know, the Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands, is that part of your desire for independence is the realization that you're not really getting what you deserve financially, or just in terms of personal satisfaction. Maybe like friends. This could have to do with like friends, where you're giving a lot, but you might become a little more comfortable being on your own for a while and stepping into your own energy and having your own business. Lots of independent energy here. So let's clarify this row of body. So we have the moon. I'm rolling my eyes because I guess it's an inside joke. But okay. Let's start with the Five of Wands. In the past, we have the Hermit. So it kind of feels like... what's interesting about this Hermit is that, again, this Hermit is the body, right? In a shell. And this is the Chariot in the mind, in a shell. So your body's going in here, while the mind, it's coming out. And it's through doing the same process, which is meditation and going within your internal home. And as you do that, you move faster within the mind. You're making progress spiritually, while physically it might feel like you're slowing down. And then in the present position, we have the Star. Oh, that's beautiful, with the movement of swords in the body. So you're really going after it now, I think. And that it's important to mention that the Hermit and the Chariot were in the past. Now's the time to move. Now it's time to take this energy that you're channeling with the sword, and you're putting it to use. And I think that comes with the confidence of the Queen of Cups, is that you've embodied that energy. You're well aware of when you're getting kind of spiritual guidance, and you're putting it to use straight away because you know the value that it has. And then with the Moon and Judgment, lone wolf energy. That's what I'm getting very strongly here, lone wolf. Because that feels like this too, right? With the Fool, that also feels like the Six of Wands. So strong independence, strong being guided by your internal compass. Pisces energy is fairly strong, Aquarius a few times, but the Moon was also in Taurus, if you remember me saying. Okay, so let's clarify this bottom row. But there's a lot of awareness, there's a lot of refocusing on what you actually want, and there's an acknowledgement of when you're facing resistance, like the speed bumps, to getting it. And I think now you're just taking your own sword and cutting through, and focusing more on your self-expression and the things that you want to bring into the world, which I think for the Star, I think you want to share something. Like we have the Nine of Pentacles in the past of the Spirit section, so this Nine of Pentacles is standing firm and tall and within yourself. So being confident and independent, and that's something you started with early. It's kind of, you might have started focusing on spirituality a little bit more, and that focus kind of trickled down into other areas of your life. Uh-oh. Oh, let me show you. It kind of feels like the spirit portion was a little ahead of the mind and body, where, yeah, it's just been, you really want to be independent and focusing on self a bit. Being a little selfish has been helpful in that, and retreating has been helpful in that. I don't know why this is here. Okay. We have the Seven of Swords underneath the Ace of Swords in the Spirit position. If you remember, this is the present moment, Spirit, and this is the present moment in the mind. So Seven of Swords coming in twice in the present. So I think what's happening here is a recognition in both the mind and spirit, and I'm not too surprised because of what it feels like, your ability to channel the information. And so like as soon as you get the information in spirit, it kind of comes through in the mind when you're focused and like a receptive state. But it's kind of the identification, right, of self-sabotage, of putting energy into things that aren't going to bring you to the star, that aren't going to put you in a place of independence and shining brightly. So just being aware, and this can go with anything really, spending money, spending your time, spending anything that really isn't aligned with your end goal, where you want to end up with the Chariot. And then we have in the spirit section, future, the Four of Cups. This Four of Cups feels kind of different though, doesn't it? More celebrating. Very calm too, a very strong sense of calming energy with Cancer. Yeah, this feels like a celebration, really. And I don't remember if the Four of Cups was the moon, but it is under a moon card, which this card again was the body. So it's like you're being taken to a place of peace, not only within the mind, but kind of in your physical environment, a very calm place where you could express yourself fully without having to hold back. So let's clarify this oracle card that you chose, which was Protection for the Vulnerable Heart. A card of Archangel Michael, and really about allowing your heart to open up. And it's interesting, it's like being giving to others, but not at the expense of yourself. And that's clarified by the Eight of Wands. So very fast moving. This is how you can align your energies. And that's what's happening at the present moment as well, is this movement, this Knight of Swords. So you're well on your way to where you want to go, but expressing this transformation that you're going through, being comfortable in the fire. And then we have a unique card in this deck. It's like the Enlightened Fool, the Golden Fool. The Fool after he's made the first journey, so returning back, which is beautiful given the Fool that was in the mind in the future. It's like you're really ready to take new leaps, but with more confidence, knowing the journey already, knowing that you have a team to support and to guide you through the process, and that at the end of the day, it's for you. The whole experience it's for you. It's your experience. So even though you might have to deal with some difficult people sometimes, if you consider this to be a person coming through twice, and if you consider this to be your environment, that these things exist so that you could evolve and grow and move forward to places that you want to go, and to kind of recognize the difference in energies so you can have more of an appreciation of your own growth. Because it's like, if we were never the caterpillar moving slow, we wouldn't recognize and really appreciate the freedom of flying freely and lightly as the butterfly. So hopefully this reading was helpful. Please comment, like, subscribe. I really appreciate your comments. I love them. I really do. And I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this card, this is going to be your reading. And we're going to go ahead and look at that towards the end to see how we can align all of your energies from the mind, body, and spirit. So first, we're going to look at the mind. And I have these pre-shuffled because I'm going to add clarifying cards on these. So the first card we have is the Nine of Pentacles for the mind. Might be, or in the past specifically, considered the road to financial success to be a maze, like this card suggests. It's kind of different from the usual Nine of Pentacles. Striving for living a comfortable life, but it's like, how do you get there? Especially in the mind, it's a maze, yeah. And then in the present moment, you have the Page of Pentacles here, so maybe you've received an opportunity to use that pentacle, but it seems as though this person doesn't really know how to go about using it. And that's kind of clarified by the previous card with the maze, where there's just so many different possibilities. So mentally, there's some hesitancy here. And then in the future card, we have the Seven of Wands. So here we see more of the movement and strength and standing up for where you want to go if you face resistance. It also feels like there's going to be people looking up to you mentally, And by that I mean, like, when you express your thoughts of how you are going to use your money, I think people will recognize it as something potentially threatening to them in a way, where it's just like, oh, you shouldn't spend your money this way because I would never do it and I'm afraid to do that. But like the card suggests, it's defending that. It's like, well, it's not your money, so you don't have to worry about it. So we have in the body position the Three of Cups. So maybe you've taken a bit of a break, played around, danced, swam, I think deliberately trying to take your mind off of this maze, because I think you know intuitively that just sitting there thinking about this all day isn't going to make it happen. So usually when we take a walk Our mind is clear to receive guidance on which way to go. And that guidance is from the higher realms, so it makes the path easier to navigate. The next card is the present moment. In the body we have Earth Mother, so lots of grounding energy, lots of being rooted, definitely a sense of meditating and feeling comfortable in your body. And there's a lot of earth energy here, so you might be focused on not just work but physicality and just being comfortable in who you are. So lots of stillness, yeah. But it feels like physically you're in a comfortable place. And then we have the Spirit of Swords in the future, which is the King of Swords. So I think you might be doing all of this grounding and taking the time to play because you're going to be moving forward fairly quickly, and you might be meeting resistance. And so this is where that strength is coming from. And then in the Spirit, we have the past is the King of Wands. The present moment, we have the Five of Wands. This Five of Wands kind of mirrors the Seven of Wands in a way. It kind of feels similar, where there's fighting over a wand that has like a crystal ball on top. Because we have the King of Wands and the Spirit of Swords, which is the King of Swords, I think those energies blend really nicely, though, to bring forth something powerful. And then we have the Ten of Cups here. So coming into personal, well, and like environmental satisfaction at a deep level, where you are rewarded at a heart-centered way for your progress that you've made. And I think you really want to build an environment that is loving and nurturing for more than just you and more than just your family. And I think that's part of where the hesitation comes in with the Pentacles, within the mind anyway, where it's like, how could I, be supported within myself but also support others? And I think part of that has to do with being confident in yourself and your spiritual team. But we're going to clarify these because this is an interesting one. Not really sure where it's going at this point. You have the Ten of Wands, clarifying the Nine of Wands. Queen of Swords for the Page of Pentacles. You might have been influenced as to what it means to be successful financially, and just in general, like, what does success mean? It feels like it's been influenced by others, and I think that's what's creating the maze within your mind. And now you're taking a little bit more ownership of what that means for you, and allowing your own guidance to be the force of authority. Like, you're your own authority. You'll notice these cards next to each other as well. Okay, it was like this. She's not having the Nine of Swords. She's not having it. And because the Nine of Swords was underneath the Seven of Wands in the future position, it just feels like whatever you decide to do in terms of using your finances, maybe investing in education, investing in learning something, you might find resistance from other people. And I think now you're at a point where you could easily just deflect those worries. Again, it feels like fears from other people being projected onto you, but you have the awareness of it. And I just want to bring mentally again with the Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, or Ten of Wands. it's like a rat race that you're getting out of. And you're listening more to earth, like to spirit, and you're grounding yourself, and you're paying more attention to your body. Wow. So we have a bunch of cups clarifying the body position. So in the past, I think part of me feels like you didn't fully appreciate the value of play when you were able to do it. But it's also like this is the cure to this, almost, where having fun and enjoying yourself is what keeps apathy at bay. Then we have Earth Mother, Spirit of Cups, which is the King of Cups. So it's like naturally you're drawn to the earth, and naturally you know to ground physically. It's kind of interesting how it feels like you're very comfortable with physicality, like your root chakra is very strong here. And then the Knight of Cups with the Spirit of Swords, which for me feels like freedom, like you're moving towards freedom. We have Aquarius and Pisces, so it's kind of like focusing on your dance. If you see these cards all together, that's kind of what it looks like. And this would be frowned upon, I mean, in day-to-day, right? Where it's, you need to be an adult and focus on responsibilities, and obviously you should, but not at the expense of your own happiness, you know? Because that happiness spreads, and that happiness is coming from a place deep within you that wants to dance and play. And I think that's why the Queen of Swords is there too, is like sometimes you have to be firm in defending your right to play, you know? We have the Star underneath the King of Wands. So there is a balance of this play and being responsible as well. And I think part of that's the realization of, like, what is it that you want in life? Like, maybe you would have started in a spiritual level having those questions of like, what is this, what is the purpose of all of this? And as I say purpose, I put down the Judgment card in the future part of the spirit portion. But it's nice to have the Judgment underneath the Ten of Cups, right? It's like my destiny is true fulfillment on every level, where I could spread it as well. This is the present moment for spirit, which is Five of Wands and the Ace. I always think that that's swords. This is swords, but it's actually wands, and it confuses me because it's a feather, and I just think of writing with the feather, you know? But since it's wands, I would say it's kind of breaking free. By stepping into your own passion, by stepping into what you feel moves you. Movement is very important for you, I think. Movement, dancing, playing. There's a lot of water energy. There's a lot of a desire to kind of, and I think you've been bogged down again by the expectations of what it means to be successful by other people, by what you're supposed to do. Like, not just going to school to go to school, but to go to school to learn something you actually want to learn, you know? Like that should matter instead of just getting a degree to do this thing that you don't really want to do. And by focusing on play and by focusing on, like, not all the time, but like prioritizing your happiness is the way to, instead of focusing on the pentacles, which is where your mind was at previously. There's a shift into passion, and that shift, look at that shift into passionate, loving energy is really going to make a big difference for you. Here we have the answer to aligning the energies. We have the Justice card, which makes sense. Here the Justice card, yeah, is about balancing the energies, but it's kind of like an elevated version of the Queen of Swords, which in this case feels like, okay, how much of the external world am I going to allow to influence me and my decision and my life and the way that I want to experience being alive and what I have to give to the world? What I decide to give should not be determined by other people, because when you're dancing and when you're really happy, it spreads easier. It's more energy. There's more energy in your happiness, and I think that's very much overlooked. And then we have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands came up twice, but this is how you align the energies. This is how you move forward. So if you feel stuck with the Five of Wands energy, which was Mars and Sagittarius, it's kind of stepping above it all, being the light, being confident, lots of confidence, and there's that energy moving up. So it could be Kundalini yoga. There's a lot of energy work here. And here we have rising inner strength. Okay. That goes well with this. This is a card of Archangel Michael, but when I say rising, and I mentioned Kundalini, so I think that there is a creative force that is moving through you. And that's really your ticket into not necessarily the Nine of Pentacles or Ten of Pentacles. This is more of being rewarded and recognized for dancing, for playing, for being happy. I think that's where you're going to make most of your success, is through very strong creative energy here. There's a lot of creative energy all over the place. Right, and the way to get to it, this is all in the physical world, right? This is the body. The way to get to all this is through grounding. Earth Mother. It's kind of like a secret to awaken that Kundalini, to allow it to rise. Notice how the tree is rising upward. The roots are going up, and your crown's up there waiting for you. So, and considering how there's so many cups here, all that water needs a place, an earthly place, so that it's kind of carried, you know. It's like a lake has the land where the water can reside. I was looking for, yeah, the star. Just balancing your responsibilities with personal playtime and prioritizing it. Because that's something that your body wants to do. That's what's really interesting. Like, your body wants to move, and by listening to it, it's like the body is intelligent in its own way, in the same way that the earth is intelligent, and making it rain when it needs to, sunrise, sunset, things like that. Your body is kind of guiding you towards your life purpose and towards happiness, really. And that happiness doesn't have anything to do with other people's idea of what that should be. So leave that behind, and grounding is going to be really helpful for that. But hopefully this reading was helpful. Speaking of helpful, please like, comment, let me know what you thought, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Take care.